Well, I'm back, and it's time for more of the indescribable vibe of GTA 3. I want to thank everyone for all the views, interest, and comments on my first video. And if you haven't seen it, you can click the card here to experience it. So many people share my love, intrigue, and bedazzlement with the atmosphere and memorable locations of GTA 3. It was really satisfying to see, and I value all the perspectives. Even Joyless stopped by in the comments, a YouTuber that has an amazing video, that GTA 3 feeling, in which he talks about what GTA 3 means to him. And I greatly recommend you watch it. So there's more to the vibe of GTA 3, and let's get right into it and return to the realm of that oh so special vibe that we all know and love. The first stop on our vibe-filled journey is the construction site on Staten Island. This place takes up quite a bit of real estate, and it's also the place where you have a massive shootout with the cartel and cross paths with Claude's girlfriend Catalina and Miguel, who betrayed him. You'll also return here a few times to take missions from Oscar, but have you ever explored the site beyond where these things take place? There's actually a whole other section to it. It's impressively expansive. Just having the first half alone would be more than enough to convey a vast construction site, but no! Rockstar went the extra mile and made this place even more massive. You could go inside these pipes and check around the scaffolding for a hidden package, but it's mostly a whole lot of nothing, but it's something. It's mostly here for spectacle, and I like that. Rockstar really took great care with the atmosphere and details of the locations in this game, and it shows so well. Also, it's funny how you'll find construction workers walking around all over Liberty City, but none of them seem to ever find their way onto the site. What a bunch of lazy oafs. They much rather walk around quoting the village people, apparently.
You can sail the 7 seas.
It's one of the many things and places in this game that just seems like it's stuck in time. And the fact that Oscar can hold Miguel captive here for so long kind of proves that barely any work is being done on this site. And they'd like to take things back to Belleville Park, and while I talked pretty extensively about the bathroom here in my first video, I didn't touch on the park itself, and it's really worth talking about because I really do like the design, and it feels like a relaxing place to be while you're surrounded by the chaos of Liberty City. The hill in the middle of the pond is quite odd. Why is this here? It's like they excavated around a big hill and left the landmass in the center and just filled it with water to create a strange moat of sorts. It's also such a shallow pond too that even Claude can't drown in it. Also, there's tracks leading into the pond that lead up to this building that looks to be obviously made for a boat. Is the Parks Department really going to put a boat in such a shallow body of water, and just a small one at that? There's also the basketball courts and this monument that brings everything together, making for a pretty cozy location, and it's just a nice place to walk around in and bask in the tranquility. Okay, so this one is a bit odd because it's such a small place of interest, but it's definitely interesting because it just seems so insignificant and unnecessary. It's a pedestrian bridge, but it just bridges over a single street, not even bridging over a highway. I mean, can't people just cross the street? Are they that impatient that they just can't wait for the pedestrian signal to change? They'd rather walk up the steps of this bridge and walk across it and climb down the stairs on the other side? Just cross the street, you weirdos! It kind of reminds me of a very, very simplified version of the High Line in Manhattan, which is a lengthy elevated walkway. But this, make no mistake, is far shorter and way narrower. So what's the purpose? Besides it being home to a hidden package, it begs the question, why? It just exists. Why did the city go through all the trouble of building it? It seems like a bit of a waste of taxpayer money. I like it for some reason. It's just so odd and bizarre and out of place with no purpose to be built that it was hard for me to ignore it in this video. It's just too inexplicable and mysterious to not mention it. Another place you'll find a lot of pedestrians is this hidden seaside path on Staten Island that I'm pretty sure most people forget about. It spans all the way from Phil's Army Surplus right up to the bridge to Shoreside Vale. I recommend taking a walk here at night and enjoying the ambiance of the city and the beautiful gleam of the lamppost. It feels like something out of a film noir as Claude strolls along this path at night alone with his thoughts, thinking of all the misdeeds he's done, and probably not giving a shit. But it still feels serene yet moody. The path sort of just ends at the bridge, not even having the courtesy to bring you back to the sidewalk, which is an odd design choice. You can also go down this staircase and access the docks. And there's a dock that leads directly from the path that you can look out toward Shoreside Vale. It's quite a view. And it's one of GTA 3's least talked about points of interest, and that's a real shame. But I'm glad to be able to document it here in this video for all to see and appreciate. Another fascinating spot is the cemetery. Now you might ask, wait, what, a cemetery? Where's that in the game? Well, when I played this game over 20 years ago, I too had no idea this existed. But it does. And it's weird. And it's really odd that it's so small and tucked away at the church in Staten Island, when cemeteries are usually huge and sprawling, and in a place like Liberty City where death is the order of the day, it's pretty striking to see that there isn't a more fleshed out cemetery, and just how small and unsettling this one is. Have you ever seen a cemetery in the back of a church, especially since it's an alleyway with a dead end, and walking through here just feels so ominous and unsettling? The stone walkway is so close to the headstones. How do they even fit any bodies back here? Something is very off feeling here. This is so odd, and you really could go the entire game without noticing it because it's not visible from the street, and you'd have no reason to assume it was there. It really gives you the feeling that anything could be discovered anywhere at any time in GTA 3, and that's one of the many reasons it deserves way more credit than what it gets in comparison to the other games in the series. Now, the church is a pretty sizable building, but isn't there another huge massive structure in Staten Island, something associated with a beloved sports team, the Liberty City Cocks? Ah yes, the football stadium. It's so huge and you'll pass by it a ton of times, but why can't you enter it? Well, you can by using the dodo, but the collision will make it quite the unsatisfying experience because it was never programmed to let the player walk on the field. Would it have been too much to ask to allow us to walk around on the field? I think that would have added a nice sense of scale to the game, letting you stand in the middle of this massive field. It's just too bad there isn't a solid floor to stand on. Well, at least you can stand by the door and get a good look at it, without having to break your ass flying the dodo. I feel as if there was originally something planned for this stadium because it's far too large and taking up so much real estate to just be used for pure spectacle. But then again, who knows? Perhaps it was always meant to be pure eye candy and nothing more. The Super Save supermarket is another very interesting location that is another useless location that really serves no purpose itself other than to exist. I mean, there's a Patriot Jeep in the parking lot that starts a mission upon entering it, but this vehicle could have been placed anywhere else really, and this vehicle and another are the only two vehicles parked in the lot all day long. You can't enter the supermarket, and it's such a sizable building with such a big parking lot, and it's pretty attention grabbing. It's kind of weird because I have a Mandela effect to this day. I could have sworn coming here when I first started playing the game again, and even back in the day on my PS2 and remembering the sound of cash registers being clearly heard. I can almost hear it now. But to my dismay, nothing. Not a sound. Okay? So that's weird because I was all geared up to talk about the odd nature of the sound. But when I came here to capture footage for this part of the video, I was greeted with pure silence. It's weird because you can hear what's going on in this sawmill, but not in the supermarket. I swear I'm not making this up to add an extra layer of creepiness to my video. I could have sworn the sound was there. But while we're at it, that just makes the Sawmill even creepier. Because hearing what's happening inside a building when none of the others let you is quite startling and bizarre, especially when we have a whole city comprised of 3 islands, and we have this one strange exclusive, and the Sawmill isn't even a major location besides the hidden package on the roof. It's an otherwise irrelevant location, much like the stadium and the supermarket. But why was there a sound program for this specific area? It's truly a head-scratching anomaly. On another note, in my previous video, I talked about my love for the houses in the hills in Shoreside Vale, but we didn't address it any further than that. Well, we're going to here. So they're beautiful, and Rockstar really took the time to model them out so nicely with pools in the backyard, and it really is just a pleasure to walk around them, and you'll find a number of hidden packages here. You'll even find Catalina's house here as well. Coming over here and exploring this area is such a massive juxtaposition to the broken down, dingy, and dreary vibe in Portland, where many of the buildings are just mere textures smeared together like paint on a canvas. The nicest house you'll see in Portland was Salvatore Leone's, but now you have plenty of lush looking homes to admire, and you feel a true sense of appreciation for being able to see them and check out the property of each, even if you can't enter them. It truly shows how far you've progressed in the game and sort of representative of how things have escalated in the game story-wise. You were left in the gutter to die at the hands of Catalina and Miguel, and now your star is rising, and now you're here. You've truly arrived in the big leagues and are no longer restricted to the tight spaces and depressing environment of Portland. So there you have it, folks. GTA 3 is certainly timeless, and I'm so glad to know that so many people share that same sentiment. It's truly a game that has withstood the test of time despite naysayers calling it outdated, surpassed, and inferior. I really do laugh how people seem to turn their noses up at early 3D games and instantly write them off as dated because they're not ultra photorealistic. Because quite frankly, while GTA 5 looks very good and way more up to date with the current progress of video game graphics, GTA 3 has a superior aesthetic. So while this might sound objectively false, listen to the statement. An aesthetic is a set of principles underlying and guiding the work of a particular artist or artistic movement. Were there more photorealistic artists than Leonardo da Vinci? Yeah. But were they necessarily a better artist? I rest my case. Somewhere in the late 2010s, N64 and PS2 games started to slowly but surely become the targets of the ugly label, where even the slightest sign of a jagged polygon would send a gaming YouTuber into a tailspin of disgust. Art is truly subjective, and there are many kinds. And when it comes to GTA, we're talking about way more than just mere graphics. We're talking about a design that has withstood the accusation of dated, an aesthetic that lives inside me, and apparently many others, and a vibe that is unique and everlasting. So guys, that just about does it. Let's discuss it all in the comments down below. Did I miss anything? Is there any atmospheric points in GTA 3 that you'd like to discuss? Please, let's discuss everything in the comments down below. I can't wait. It was a real blast doing it in my first video, and I really want to do it here. So let's get a great conversation going in the comments. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bells to get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. If you could give any donations on Patreon, that would be greatly appreciated as always. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the dislike button if you fucking hated it. And I want to thank all my subscribers for your continued support. And thanks again for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.